Dr. Don Benton is as Texan as the Lone Star State. And although he counts Austin, McAllen, and Kilgore as old Texas haunts, Dallas will always be his home.
He absolutely was called by God to be a servant leader through the church.
His ministry at Spring Valley and Lover's Lane are really truly legendary in terms of what he accomplished at those two churches.
He added such a dynamic spiritual element to our life.
Don has always answered his many callings with selfless service to the church, his congregations, and humanity.
He's a compassionate leader. He leads with his heart.
It's that seeing the need in another person that compels him into action.
And he's just so warm and friendly the minute you meet him. I mean, you're not going to feel uncomfortable even though you know his background and his reputation.
Don is one of the most deeply compassionate people I've ever known. He believes in people. He wants people to claim their worth as a child of God.
Don Benton transforms lives.
I think he inspired us to put faith into action, to not just be comfortable with it, but to go out and live it and make a difference in other people's lives.
He's always been larger than life to me, and his hands are like the size of my head.
They're not hands, they're catcher's mitts.
His voice just booms through the sanctuary.
Don Benton has the voice of God. It's like listening to Moses when he preaches.
He could give a sermon totally memorized, never used notes, knows the scripture forward and backwards.
When you left one of his sermons, you left changed.
He'll never stop preaching. He'll never stop what he was called to do.
From Lover's Lane United Methodist Church to Lawn Boys Congregation, from the Student Affairs Committee at Southern Methodist University to the Trinity River Mission in West Dallas, from observing the end of apartheid in South Africa to helping reorganize the Methodist Church in Russia. Wherever God has called him, Don has followed and led others.
Trinity River Mission is a place where it's a volunteer-based community learning center that helps at-risk youth to give them the support that they need to graduate from high school and hopefully go beyond that. Dr. Benton and his wife took that on and said, we need to do something about this. We're going to help these kids to make it in life.
Don has accomplished so many things. He was so much a part of the Russia initiative to, after the Berlin Wall fell, to bring the United Methodist presence into Russia.
Throughout his remarkable career, he has led the U.S. Senate in prayer, been a guest at the ranch of the president in Botswana, taught preaching at Perkins School of Theology, founded Hope and Care Missions, and served on the boards and committees of organizations assisting inmates, runaway youth, homeless families, food assistants, children, and unwed mothers.
Don Benton has been on the board of Methodist Health System since 1980. Few people know this, but Don Benton designed the cross that sits atop Methodist Dallas Medical Center. In fact, when he met with the architects that day, he referred to himself as a crossologist. There is no such thing.
The foundation is called Play, and it's positive living for active youth, and it's a grant resource for amputees across the country. He's always found a way to take me to that next level. He wants you to succeed. You know, he wants you to believe in yourself and have that strength, and so he just nurtures that.
He has the capability to establish a relationship with anybody and really extend the Lord's love to anybody.
And he's just so warm and friendly the minute you meet him. I mean, you're not going to feel uncomfortable even though you know his background and his reputation.
He's lived a life of total sacrifice to serve God and to serve others.
Don is one of the most deeply compassionate people I've ever known. He believes in people. He wants people to claim their worth as a child of God.
In the few moments he has in private life, Don is a pilot, a blue ribbon winning cook, and an avid horseman and cattleman.
We used to go to the rodeo and watch him perform, and he always wears his boots. And my dad and him used to go hunting all the time, and
They loved to hunt. That was one of their favorite things to do. They would sing around the campfire.
he's larger than life. He's just a wonderful Christian cowboy that, you don't see a lot of those anymore.
He has traveled to over 50 countries, including mission trips to South America, and has written 4 books sharing his knowledge and charisma with us all.
I met Dr. Benton in 2007 for the very first time. I was in the hospital. I lost oxygen and blood flow to all my extremities, and so the end result was I was being told that I was going to lose my legs and my hands. And so family and friends thought that, I could use some support at that time. So he literally met me when the doctor was having that conversation with my family. So he just took it on from that point to just tell me everything was going to be okay. And he gave me the higher message that I really needed.
He experienced a lot of life because he had sort of a tough childhood, a father that was an alcoholic. He helped his mother. And I think those experiences bring you to a more real, empathetic feeling for other people.
And while he has loved every moment of his meaningful life, perhaps his greatest love has been his wife and children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
Don always put God and others and self in that order, and others meant family. And he just was the best of, I think, of father and of husband.
Don has a love for Rosemarie that's beautiful to watch in action.
Definitely, she was his support and his refuge, I think.
Don will always remain the most revered and honored place in our hearts and minds, and will continue to inspire generations to come through his remarkable ministry and life.
I'm not sure if Don really fully understands the true impact he's had on people's lives.
All the things that he started and the great things that have come out of it, all of his work, but mainly I think the fact that he's shown so much kindness and generosity, I think that'll be how we'll remember him.
That's going to be his legacy, more than buildings he's built, more than all of the ministries he's participated in. It's the people whose lives he has changed forever with the knowledge that they're loved by God.
In our personal experience, I can't remember a day that Don wasn't involved in C.C. Young.
Now, he's not 90 years old, so he's not quite as old as C.C. Young, but he has taken up C.C. Young's mantle of appreciating every phase of life, and especially to give value to our senior adults.
When we thought about building a building that could serve this community and the outside committee, and now call it a point, we knew we needed a leader, and we automatically came up with Don Benton. We knew that all we had to do was ask him.
Upon his retirement, when he moved here, he became the pastoral care presence of C.C. Young.
He comes to work every day and he says, what can I do for C.C. Young today? He doesn't even think about the good that he does as he goes around the campus and talks to people.
Don is really setting the tone for the future of C.C. Young. He is helping shape C.C. Young to be what it aspires to be.
He understands that this can't be C.C. Young's nursing home anymore. It has to meet the challenges and the needs of today.
He always made time, and I could never thank him enough for loving us as his own, really.
I just appreciate all the time he took to be with us.
For some reason, he makes you want to be a better person in every aspect. So that's probably the best way I would show gratitude for all he's done, is to continue what he would want me to do.
And I'm very grateful for him for giving me strength, for giving me those moments when I'm frustrated or I'm having a bad day and I can think of a little Donism and it just gets me through.
I admire him for all that he's done, especially in the community in West Dallas. And I think if it weren't for him, I don't know if many of our kids would be making it. So I think of the world of him, obviously, for that.
I couldn't even begin to frame in words the gratitude that our family holds for him, and I think everyone would line up with the same thought as, how do you ever say thank you for someone who's enriched your faith and inspired you to be a better person?
He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And at the lowest point of my life, he picked me up and said, I believe in you. I think God has a future for you. And he helped me claim my ministry. And he is my spiritual father. I have the greatest love for him and appreciation for him, and he has changed my life.
Hopefully in his heart of hearts at the end of the day, he'll know that he changed a broad corner of the world and instilled a faith that will serve generations.